focus on health, fitness, and technology. Everything within the region of Peel, businesses, individuals, products and services, everything that's going to help you get fit, get active, and really help improve your quality of life. And so today with us in studio we have Charu Puri, who is from modernyogi.com, and so I want to welcome Charu to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm just excited to be here, and it's great because I get to share, health benefits with everybody, and I like to do that anyhow. Having my YouTube channel out there and providing yoga for corporate companies or private clients. So thank you. I'm happy to be here. Yeah.
Perfect. So maybe we can just start really quickly with some of the viewers who I know that a lot of people know about yoga, but maybe there's individuals
Some
watching
new people,
that may not know about yoga. Maybe you can just kind of quickly touch what is yoga?
Sure. It's a very good question. Well, I think, for a lot of newcomers, I feel what happens is when they hear the word yoga, they get scared.
Okay.
Because what they see on TV or on YouTube, and they see people doing all kinds of pretzel kind of stretches and moves, and they feel intimidated by it because they're like, oh God, I can't do that. Like, I don't think I'll ever be able to go to a yoga class. But that's not really what it's about. It's not just physical, and those are those people who have been probably practicing for X amount of years, and now they're very limber with their bodies and they have that kind of flexibility, and they're able to do that. But if you were to look at what beginner yoga or a basic yoga is, and I personally enjoy doing a beginner basic yoga because it just helps me to just always stay in check. So every now and then I might do some advanced moves for myself, but when I'm working with clients, so yoga is, it's a deep stretch to the body. So when you go to a gym, you are primarily probably working a lot on cardio, and you're working on those bigger muscles that you want to get toned and built. With yoga, it's using your own body resistance to stay toned and build your muscles. So you can still be very fit doing something like yoga without the need of weights. I love gym workouts too, and I like to balance it both. So I think that yoga is a nice way for someone who's a beginner to be able to stretch their muscles, stretch their body, increase flexibility. There is actually cardio involved in yoga. People think, oh, I don't think I'm going to get any cardio in, or, how can you lose weight? But you do, because there's something called a flow. And so there's all kinds of different names of yoga. You've probably heard of hatha yoga, which is like a beginner style, which is more concentrating on, your body alignment, how to use your different muscles and flexibility. Then there's flow, where you would have actual movements, and in those movements, you get a little bit of that cardio. So there's all kinds of. Then you got power yoga, and that would be a much more, intermediate to advanced level. So there are levels, which means that yoga is for everybody. And so you don't have to be scared about what you see on TV and in the magazines. And of course they're going to show those pictures because they want to show the pinnacle of it, right? But when we're starting out, and then breath is involved, so you learn to use your breath. So yoga is about energy, like subtle energy, your breath and the body movement, and being able to combine it. So I like to say it's a full-on experience of mind, body, and spirit.
So it's what we want to do is yoga is the connection of breathing with the movement, if I understand you correctly. Okay, perfect. So typically, Charu, who are your clients?
My clients are, I'd like to say they're everybody, because we want to help everybody, but realistically we can't, right? So mostly I work with professionals. So professionals who are managers of other people, leaders, are in leadership roles, and this just happened to be my niche because these were the people who were coming to me. So me as a mind-body coach, I do private in-person sessions, and I don't have a commercial studio, so they're all private sessions, and I found that over the years, the people who were coming to me were people who, are maybe in computers and IT and engineers and accounts and a lot of people who are sitting in front of a computer all day.
Okay.
And so they have, what we call tech neck,
Right.
the tight neck and shoulders and back and everything. So that seemed to be a repeat of clients I was getting over the years, and that became the niche. And I like helping them. So basically professionals who, maybe working in the corporate sector or are managers or leaders of other people, and they themselves need to stay fit.
Okay.
And they recognize that their own mind and body health is very important to maintain.
Definitely.
In order for them to maintain that position, right?
Right.
So if they want to keep shining as professionals, well, they also have to do their inner work and do their personal care. And so that's what it is. So I work with them, and of course I'm always open to working with everybody, but that typically tends to be the people.
Clientele.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting that when you want to perform at high level,
Yeah.
physically, that you have to mentally be performing at a high level as well. And a lot of people don't really see that connection, but it's very apparent with like Olympians.
Yeah.
And just the efforts that they go to really connect the mind body.
Right.
In that journey.
Yeah. And mind is so important, and that's what I like about yoga is that it really allows you to connect to a deeper level of yourself.
Right.
So you not only get more physically active and fit and healthier, but it's mind management as well, right? Because the way that we breathe, the way that the energy work comes in, and it's just very symbiotic how it all comes together.
True.
So yeah, and I think the professionals, the clients I work with, they have such long days. So, they may be up at like early mornings, working till late at night, sitting in front of a computer screen, long days, travel a lot, deadline, that kind of pressure, high stress, so always on the go. And they love the idea of having a personal coach because they need someone to keep them in check, right? They need someone to be like, hey, I know this is important, but it's just that I don't have the time to do this myself because I'm hustling everywhere here and there. So if by having a coach, it's like, okay, at least I know that there's a structure and there's someone to give me that mind-body management.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understood. So how are your programs structured? Like a timeline? Like how does that work?
Yeah. So how I see myself different in respects to how I conduct my yoga sessions is I actually have programs.
Okay.
So now these programs are like they're a time period. So a program might be a 6-week program or a 8-week or a 10-week. And I have various programs. So that now depends on what the client's looking for, what their needs are. Some of my programs, for example, I do a program called Yes Stress. And so it's a play on the words, but we all have stress. So whether it's financial, health, relationship, career, that's what it is. And stress never goes away, but we can learn to better manage it. So one of my programs, Yes Stress, people are happy with it. And that program, for example, could be an 8 to 10 week now, depending on, what that client needs and how much time I think we need to spend together. I never recommend, going for like a 4-week or anything like that, because to be honest, it takes 10 weeks for old mind body patterns to change. And so anything less than that really, it's like a waste of their time, and I wouldn't want to do that to them. So it's like if you're making the commitment to make a difference in your life with mind body, take it seriously.
You want to set them up for success.
Yeah, exactly. You want to set them up for success and results, and they should walk away feeling good about what they've done. And then it doesn't stop there, because now this becomes a lifestyle, right? So you hopefully, whatever program you've done with me, you maintain some of that. And now we can do like maintenance programs, right?
That's the next question I was going to get to. So now that you've spent 6 to 10 weeks with somebody, with an individual, now they're on their own for a while, and then, kind of getting those tune-up sessions. And,
Exactly, tune-up sessions, because, I have done a lot of training where I've had coaches,
Right.
and I love it because I think that it allows me to stay in check.
Right.
So, and I understand the value of it because I myself have done it.
Right.
So when I think about, like, if I didn't have that kind of guidance, then could I be a good coach myself? Right? But because I understood and respected what they were trying to do and what they were trying to make happen for me, I'd like to emulate a similar kind of conduct in, like, what I'm offering for people, and keep it real,
Right, right,
and keep
okay.
it genuine, right? So yeah, so it's nice, and it's a very nice relationship that I build with them,
Right.
because
Good.
indirectly you almost become like an informal coach, like
Right.
a life coach,
Right.
because, like, the more I know about their life, the more I know what kind of program will suit them.
Definitely.
And the Yes Stress program, I like when people do that one, because it is life changing. It's a transformation.
Right.
So it's a little different than, let's say, one of my basic yoga and breathing programs, and that's a beautiful program too.
Right.
But if you're really looking to make some big changes to your life and do some transformations, then the Yes Stress would be for you. But like I said, I have various programs.
Right.
Depends who's looking for what.
Okay,
So,
understood.
yeah.
And so now, are these programs in person? Are they online? How does it work?
Yeah, so these two programs, yoga and breathing program and Yes Stress program, they're both in-person sessions, and that would be booked with me. So you could shoot me an email. I think it's written below,
Yep.
and info@amodernyogi.com. Just shoot me an email, and then we can discuss it. My consultations are free on the phone or in person, however people feel comfortable.
Okay.
And then I am actually launching very soon a online program, which is
Okay.
called Breathe Your Way to Better Health.
Okay.
And it's a breathing program. Very easy, simple breathing exercises that one could do. And I'm excited to launch that, and it's coming very soon. So again, if you shoot me an email, then I will be able to keep you updated on the information for the Breathe Your Way to Better
Perfect.
Health.
And how long is the online program that you're going to be?
That one is 10 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
10 weeks. And the nice thing about the online program, it's exciting for me because I actually get to have that client in a guided way, because
Right.
it's my audios and videos that they're going to follow,
Okay.
but it's also self-guided. So now they get to be on their own and
Right.
kind of do it at their own pace, and see what this feels like,
Right.
So
Okay.
yeah, it's nice.
Perfect. And so, how long have you been doing this, like yoga and this type of work, and how long is this?
Yeah.
for you?
Yeah, it's been a long time. Sometimes I'm surprised how long it's been, but 13 plus years.
Okay.
And it has become a lifestyle. It's become a way of living and guiding others, keeping myself in check.
Right.
It's interesting. I actually started from wanting to become an actress.
Right.
So I actually was an aspiring actress, made my way over to Mumbai, spent some time in Bollywood, did some work over there,
Right.
and that actually led me to this work. So it just fell
Okay.
in my lap.
Right.
So I didn't have this as a plan,
Right.
It just fell in my lap, and then I'm one of those people that I didn't want to ignore. I'm like, well, God must have made this happen for a reason.
Right.
So then I just went with it, and then it's been 13 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've been doing that, and it's very nice because when being an aspiring actress and then coming into this work, that transpired very nicely for me,
Right.
because over in that industry, very important to keep up with our body image, even our mental balance, our emotional balance.
Right.
That was very important. And so it just sort of very nicely, smoothly works beautifully in this work that I do
Okay.
with everybody today.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. So, is it when you're doing yoga and you're working with people, are there any mind-body problems that you face that are maybe
That I personally face?
personally or
Yeah.
maybe even clients?
Yeah, well, clients, I noticed that it's low energy,
Okay.
sometimes low motivation.
Right.
And it doesn't surprise me, even though I mostly work with professionals,
Right.
even though they are managers of other people, they are leaders, but they're human too. And they also go through patches where they may not be feeling so great about life,
Okay.
or not feeling so confident about their direction or their path, and somehow something's been shifted, or some energy's gone out of whack, right?
Right.
And so I find it could be low energy, low motivation, weight gain because they're not able to manage a healthy diet. Because yoga and breathing is one aspect, but what you eat, what you put in your body.
That's right.
I personally am not a vegetarian, but I do try to eat healthy.
Right.
So I do try to eat more natural foods that are better for me, and I'm aware of what I'm putting in my body, you know? And I believe it's like a 80-20%. So I'll try to do 80% good, and every now and then if you have the wrong food or something, it's okay. Don't get stressed out about it. You know, that 20% I think is allowed in life.
Yeah.
And so these are my clients, you know, the people who gain weight, feel way overstressed, have no time to take care of themselves, have an image to maintain, and then that can be pressure, you know. So then they can get into like confidence issues or low motivation or high stress, you know, these kind of things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything that you've noticed in yourself?
Yeah, like for myself, I mean, I have been dealing with some asthma and bronchiectasis. It's a very difficult word to pronounce. I couldn't pronounce it myself, but bronchiectasis. So it's basically where you accumulate a lot of mucus and then you're having to constantly expel. So that's what I've been dealing with for quite a while. But I have to say, if it wasn't for my yoga and breathing practice, maybe I would be in a worse position. And because I'm able to manage this, I think it's because I'm managing because of this practice I do has assisted some support and allowed me to just like have better control. In fact, over the years, I've worked with Toronto Western Hospital, the Lung Association. I came in as the guide and the coach that like, hey guys, I also have an issue, but I'm trying to maintain myself by doing some yoga, like breathing, so you can too. So I would like show them, how to do it, and it'd be a fairly big group of 50 plus people. So yeah,
it's interesting sometimes that people need to be reminded and just introduced to something different because they haven't really experienced it or it's out of their periphery. So they're not really looking at it. I know for me, I've shared before too, is I've had a kidney transplant, and so the steroid uses really the prednisone and all the different medications, it really affects the bones from the inside out. And so I ended up getting a hip replacement on the left side. And when I got it done, so we're talking about like 2006, 2007 when I was diagnosed with that issue. With the x-rays, what they noticed is that both sides of my hip were deteriorated at the same amount and the same rate.
Gotcha.
But it was my left side that was actually the issue. And that's when I came across yoga. And so I was doing a bit of yoga, experimented with it before. And then I really started to spend a lot more time doing yoga, stretching. And so to this day still, I've only had the left side done, and the right side, which is in equally bad shape, it doesn't hurt. It still doesn't hurt.
Amazing.
And I remember reading in the Yoga Sutras a long time ago, when Patanjali wrote it, he said that yoga can cure everything except bone diseases, which I thought was really powerful, and that's what really turned me towards yoga to start trying it. And what I did notice, and I've shared this before too, is there's a point where I was overdoing yoga.
People can do that.
Definitely, and it was an experiment to really try to see if it really works. And what I can say is that 4 to 5 hours for about a month, I was off of all my medications. Except the anti-rejection. I was off blood pressure, I was off cholesterol because my blood pressure had come down so much. But it's not practical. And I think that's a lot of times people, the average person who's kind of thinking about yoga, they think that there's this huge time commitment, and really you want to just start with 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
You don't have to do an hour a day, or I would say exactly what you said, like 10, 15 minutes. And that's why having the guidance of a coach, it's really important, because you don't want to end up bending the wrong way or have the wrong alignment and be like, oh, I pulled my back, I pulled my hip, and people say that, and it's because you probably weren't in the right position, because they are some awkward positions, and it takes time to one, it teaches you patience, because it's kind of like that sweet pain.
Right.
So it's like uncomfortable pain, but of course, if that uncomfortable pain is now hurting,
Right.
that you're probably doing something wrong.
That's right. That's right.
So the guidance of a coach is necessary in anything, whether you work out at the gym, you need a personal trainer. You want to do yoga, well, get a yogi coach.
Right, yes,
So
that's
you need that, and exactly like 10-15 minutes. That's enough, because that will make you feel good,
Right.
because you won't feel like my efforts went to waste. It's like,
Right.
oh, you know what, I tried to do this for half an hour or 45 minutes and I was terrible, and that's the end of this. So it's like, no, don't be so hard on yourself. Give yourself build up like 10-15 minutes. Okay, today, till this day, I still when I do let's say a headstand,
Right.
I'm very careful. I don't try to like just like, oh, I'm a pro at this and I'm just gonna like go into this very
Right,
fast,
right.
because I know I could injure myself.
Right.
So I go in with ease. Or if I'm like doing like a handstand, I still kick off the wall. I take support of the wall and then move away from it. So it's always important to just listen to the body, right?
Right.
And it is a healing. It is a healing practice.
Right.
It is bringing healing to the body, because it's working the nervous system. It's working the skeletal, muscular, all the systems.
Definitely. I think that's when people, the average person, when they will see yoga, what they're looking at, and they don't, a lot of times I think, because I get the same questions, is a lot of times average person feels that they're supposed to be stretching into it, it's supposed to hurt.
Yeah, it's
Like,
supposed to
it's
go
supposed to be
deep and go hard, and it's like,
right.
no,
like,
we're
no,
not
it's
going to do
supposed to be
that.
gentle.
It's not boot camp style,
Right, gentle.
So, and then
Right.
people get intimidated.
Right.
And now that also matters. I mean, there are some very, very good yogis out there, very good coaches and instructors. But then you might run into some that pushed you too hard,
Right.
and now you're like, I'm never going back to
Right,
that,
turn
and
away
it
from it.
intimidated you,
Right.
And another thing people think is that it's very boring. They're like, oh,
Right.
yoga's so boring.
Right.
I wanted to fall asleep, Right. But that's not true either, because now that depends on, well, who's your coach and
Right.
who's guiding you, and maybe that person's not boring,
Right.
And also there's a, like I said earlier, there's a yoga that could suit whatever your personality is, or
Right.
who you want to maintain your image as, or who you are trying to become.
Right.
So there's lots that you can play
Definitely,
with.
definitely, for
Yeah.
sure. The other part I think that was a real awakening moment when I started yoga practice is the breathing and the connection.
Yep.
Because typically when in the Western world we're breathing opposite.
Yeah, we breathe from here, we
Right,
breathe
all
from the
up.
respiratory, from our chest,
Right.
but actually we want to breathe from the diaphragm.
Right.
And in our South Asian community, we're known for like high BP and diabetes and weight gain.
Right.
We like our Indian sweets, right?
Right.
So these things cause these problems. Now, if somebody were to get into like a very nice, easy breathing, it's diaphragm breathing, which is basically the muscle that separates, the lungs from the stomach. So it's kind of like this big parachute muscle. And when you breathe from your diaphragm, basically belly breathing,
Right.
you're breathing from the lowest part of the lungs,
Right.
which allow for full capacity of oxygen into the whole body.
Right.
So you're not shallow breathing. So they call like, breathing from the chest or from the lungs shallow breathing, whereas breathing from your diaphragm,
Right.
that's like full, whole, deep breathing. And you can tell the difference. So that's also part of my program, because that's a breathing exercise that you could do sitting in your car, driving, sitting
Right.
at the office desk, sitting anywhere, nobody knows you're doing diaphragm breathing. It's very
Right.
calming. It can be very therapeutic, and like it can change your energies in a second. So
Definitely.
like, if you feel like you've had an upset or something emotionally has bothered you,
In
you
traffic,
just
right.
like focus on your belly breathing and diaphragm breathing, and you all of a sudden there's like a shift of energies,
Yes. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's the same as like just being mindful.
Yeah, be mindful.
Especially in traffic. That's
Absolutely.
I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't recommend going like do stuff
Yeah.
while you're at driving high speed on the highway, but
Right.
maybe while you're like on a slow drive, or
Yeah.
at a red light or
Right.
something like that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's definitely, when you think of like multitasking,
Yeah.
that's an area where you really want to try to incorporate
Yeah.
the mindfulness of breathing and really focused and being present,
Right.
especially in traffic. So those are high stress situations. And
Yeah. I love breathing. I love the breathing aspect of yoga. it's very meditative, and it's very like, it's almost hard to come out of it. Like,
Right.
it's such a beautiful, I don't know what you could say, like a natural high, you
Right.
know? It's like a natural high, and you just like, you want, because the first few minutes, it's like you're just warming up, you're just prepping for your breathing practice, you know? And then, by the middle of it, where you're somewhere between that 3-5 minutes,
Okay.
you know, getting more into it. So it's a nice practice, and that's why I created the program Breathe Your Way to Better Health,
Right. Okay.
which has both dynamic breathing and therapeutic calming breathing.
And since we're talking about breathing, maybe we can maybe you can show some really quick, simple
Sure.
exercises, things
Yeah.
that would be really effective.
Sure, I would love to. So normally I would do this exercise standing, but because of the fact that we are here sitting in the
So this
studio.
is for our viewers who are like
Yeah.
IT professionals
Yeah.
who are always seated.
Yes.
So this might be a good
Yeah.
a good segue for them.
Exactly. And this is something that you could do just in the private space of even your home, or you want to even do it at the office. And of course, others are going to see you doing it, but then that's not a bad thing.
Right.
It's like, oh, what are you doing there?
Right,
You know?
right.
And then everybody can join in. So what we're going to do is just going to, you know, you can bring your arms up, all the way up, okay? And nice and straight as they can be, and just feel like those fingers are reaching the skies. Okay, so just breathing normally while you're here. Chin is slightly tucked in. And you want to drop your shoulders a bit, so you don't want to feel like the shoulders are tense. Okay, and then you're going to take a nice deep inhale. We're going to go slow the first time just so that we can see what we're doing here. So we're going to go nice deep inhale through the nose. And then exhale, purse the lips, the arms come down. And just swing them behind you. Okay, so now we would do this in a much faster movement. So it would go something like this.
Okay, inhale, exhale.
Right, with pursed lips. So on the exhale, so it's like you're throwing out, right? So just feel like you're throwing out all the negative stuff from the day, or the stress, or the tiredness.
Right.
So when you do this consistently for about 1 minute and 30 seconds, or even just a minute if you're starting off, you feel the energy is changing, and all of a sudden you're more vibrant.
Right.
You know, you have the energy. So it's like up, down. So it's like, you know, the idea of just throwing out.
Right.
And as we're breathing like this with the deep inhale, the deep exhale, and throwing it out, there's a power.
Okay.
So there's I like this breathing because it has character.
Right.
So
Right.
it's not your boring breathing exercise. So it's a little bit more dynamic. It has character to it. And after about 30 seconds, you'll notice that, you know, this feels good. Like the energies are starting to change.
Right.
You also feel like I'm getting a little tired, and that tired feeling is a good thing, because it's like there's a conversion of energy, right?
Right,
So you've
okay.
had like a long day, or you're somewhere halfway in your day, feeling tired, sleepy, hungry, whatever it is,
Right.
and you do that, and now you're all perked up again. You
Right,
know?
definitely.
Yeah, ready to go.
Is there maybe a general guideline of when someone is starting yoga for the first time? Maybe they're starting pranayama or just breathing exercises in general. Is there like don't do more than X amount of time, or
Yeah.
maybe some signs that people should be looking out for, that maybe they're exerting themselves too much right at the beginning?
Absolutely. So, for example, you had mentioned, like with the actual physical yoga practice, by the way, which is called yoga asanas.
Right.
So you could just start 10-15 minutes, and then you build your time, right? So you're like, okay, I did 15 minutes today, yay. All right, let me try to add on another 5 minutes, and now I'm
Right.
up to 20. So you slowly build up. Same with the breathing.
Okay.
You start off now with these power breathings that are part of my Breathe Your Way to Better Health program.
Right.
I've kept them at about 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Okay.
And because you need that much time to just kind of start to change the energies.
Okay.
So you want to start at somewhere like, I would say, 1 minute to 3 minutes,
Okay.
maybe eventually going to 5 for some of them. And like, for example, if it was a diaphragm breathing, which you're breathing from the belly, you need a little more time for that,
Okay.
because it takes time. It's almost like a meditative state
Right.
that you need to kind of prepare the mind, prepare the body for that breathing. And so, you know, your first 2 minutes is gone very easily.
Right.
So you want to do that one for about 5 minutes, and then you build
Okay.
up the time to 10 and so on.
Okay.
You know, and with these power breathings, you know, keep them to 1 to 2 minutes kind
Right.
of thing.
Okay.
And my guidance would be there in the Breathe Your Way to Better Health program. So I'm giving some kind of timeline.
Perfect. So we're running out of time.
Yeah.
We're going to start to wrap up.
Yes.
Is there anything that you want to say in conclusion? Maybe you want to touch on some things that we haven't touched on for the audience, and then please share your information, how people can get in touch with you.
Sure. I just want to say that give yoga a try. Don't be intimidated by it. And I'm here as your coach to guide you. And it will definitely be a transformation for your life. It will be life changing. And that's it. And you can just contact me on my website, info@amodernyogi.com. You'll come to know more about the online program and in-person sessions.
Perfect. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Charu, for
Thank
joining
you,
us.
Nick.
All
Yeah,
right.
thank you.
So we will have Charu's information below with the YouTube channel. What we want to do is we want to thank you for joining us. Just a quick reminder about the Peel Healthy Lifestyle show that's happening on June 1st at Turner Fenton Secondary School in Brampton. You're welcome to get more information at www.peel.health, and that's the best place to connect with us. Once again, I want to thank you for joining us on Peel Healthy Lifestyle show, where we focus on health, fitness, and technology, and we'll see you next week. So welcome back to the bonus footage from Peel Healthy Lifestyle Show. This is our YouTube channel, and we want to just go in a little bit more detail as we're talking with Charu, and we want to really kind of focus on a couple of things. And the first one we want to really focus on is the online program that you originally mentioned.
Yes.
Maybe you can elaborate more, talk some more detail about what it entails and what it's like and what's happening.
Yeah, well, the online program, as I mentioned, coming soon, is it's called Breathe Your Way to Better Health.
Okay.
And I wanted to create this program because I felt that there was a lot of emphasis on more about yoga, asanas, and poses and moves, which is great.
Right.
But I felt like there's not a lot of emphasis on breathing exercises, which is called pranayama.
Right.
And so I created the program for people who are professionals.
Okay.
That's mostly who I work with, who have a fast lifestyle.
Right.
And they travel a lot. They have high stress, and so they work long hours. And these are easy enough exercises that they could squeeze in their day.
Okay.
And so the way that the program is sort of broken down is it's a 10-week duration.
Okay.
And then 2 weeks they would do one section, then they would do another breathing section, and so on and so on.
Okay.
And somewhere in there I leave them alone to go ahead and experiment now whatever you've learned
Right.
out of the various breathing exercises, and just see which one resonates with you.
Okay.
What's working for you, what's not,
Right.
and where you can use what. And part of the program is that because I'm there as the distant guide,
Right.
I do give some kind of homeworks or assignments or quizzes,
Okay.
so that it helps to keep you in check with the program. So you
Right.
don't feel like, okay, yes, this is self-guided and self-paced, but here I am on my own. So it's fully supported
Okay.
by me as your yogi coach,
Right,
and
right.
and to give you that extra push and support when you need it. And that's how it's structured. So in a very easy way to do it, you would just follow some audios and videos. As far as the pricing, it's very reasonable. So
Right.
it's not it's a small dent in what you would pay for it. And the value that you
Right.
get for what you pay, I think that speaks more. I've done many programs before where I've spent thousands of dollars
Right.
on programs. But if I look at that today, I don't look at that I spent thousands of dollars. I look at actually what value did it give me.
Right.
And so now this is about our health. This is about our mind and
Right.
body management.
Right.
And that is foundation,
That's right.
Without that, you can't even excel if you want to
It's
be.
invaluable.
Yeah,
Right.
you can't, you want to become the next CEO or the next manager or the
Right.
best employee or whatever it is.
That's right.
You need these guidances, and so I've created easy enough exercises that they can do online. And the nice thing is, I've always wanted to do something that was global,
Right.
so that has global impact, global wellness,
Right.
and being in a hometown. That's great. I love catering to my in-person clients. They've been amazing.
Right.
But you're limited, right? Whereas you have an online program, now I'm glad to be able to share this with the world, right?
That's right.
So,
That's right.
yeah.
That's, I think, the beauty of online is that we're able to reach more people.
Yeah.
And in turn, there's people out there that are looking for a convenient way to really get healthy.
Exactly.
While you were just saying that before, it's interesting how we are conditioned through our childhood and through our upbringing that, you know, we have to go to school, we have to get educated, we have to get a job, and whatever that scenario looks like, whether it's a business or whether you're working for somebody, working for yourself, but we do not spend that kind of training and time on our health.
Yes.
And that's like the most important part.
Yeah.
Because if you want to function at a high level, you have to have a mental program that's going to be high level and a nutrition level that's going to be high level as well.
Exactly. They don't teach that in schools,
right? Right. And so it's interesting that sometimes the dynamic of people will put importance on an education and getting that, but when it comes to health, they won't put their dollars there.
Right.
And I know research shows over and over again that you pay for your health. You either pay for it up front or you pay for it at the end.
Yeah.
And at the end, it's usually you're in bed.
Yeah, you're in bad shape.
Right.
It's critical, right?
That's right.
And then people have regret about their life. Oh, I should have done this. I should have done that.
Right.
I mean, you know, we all can slack. You know, it's not like I'm doing this 7 days a week or anything.
Right.
But it's a lifestyle where I know that I'm trying to maintain,
Right.
and as long as you can maintain, that's what it's all about.
Right.
And you know, it is. It's something that I think that unless you, like, a coach is almost necessary these days.
Right.
Because it's like you know it's good for you, you know it, but you need it on blueprint, right? So by having an online program, it's like you're accessible to everybody, and it's easy enough that, like, if I had to do something online, I would not want something complicated.
Right.
So the thing is, it's an easy click to get the program.
Okay.
It's user friendly.
Right.
Short, quick exercises that you could do, and then, you know, of course, share. Other people around you get to share that as well because they see your changes.
That's right.
So they're like, oh, what are you doing lately? Your skin looks better.
Right.
You seem better. You seem happier. You don't seem as stressed, or your posture's improved, or like
right.
whatever.
That's usually the first.
You think differently,
Right.
and what are you doing? And even the people who are living in your home, because it's an online program, obviously they're going to benefit as well, right?
Right.
So they're going to also be able to share the goodness that you're doing for yourself. So you become a beacon of light for others, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So that's I think as when we venture into health and wellness field, it's something that most people, it's secondary.
Yeah.
And for us, we want to be proactive, and that's why we're partly there. And usually there's some kind of an experience or something's happened in life.
Something's happened in life.
And
like
that's what's
for
kind of pushed us into that direction.
Yeah, for me it's interesting. I mean, I wrote this book because, you know, it's a memoir, so it's not one of those books that you have to read from beginning to end.
Right.
But I wrote it, A Modern Yogi, a different kind of memoir, because my life basically went from entertainment to enlightenment, I like to say. So, you know, I was actually an aspiring actress, and then that led me to this work, as I was mentioning in the earlier segment. So, you know, I wrote the book. You could really, literally, I hope that anybody could pick up any page and maybe gain something from it. So it appeals to men, women, people of all ages, and it's just my journey, you know, from childhood, growing up in Winnipeg, which was a very small town, and then, you know, traveling to India, going to the big city of Mumbai, then, you know, and then
That's
living
a big
here.
Change from
Yeah, well, we came here first, but I was pretty much, you know, born, raised here, right? So I've been a Canadian Indian, and then being in a place like Mumbai was very new. So anyhow, so I wrote the book, and then I write about, like, my yoga experiences and my entertainment days. It's a very candid book, and I, you know, if you're gonna write a memoir, you gotta keep it candid. So it's like, you know, I'm an open book, really, and so, you know, you could buy the book on Amazon as an ebook, and just an easy read.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And you know what? We haven't touched on it, but maybe you can share your introduction to yoga.
Yeah.
How did you get introduced to yoga?
Yeah, so that was an interesting story. So while I was in Mumbai as an aspiring actress, you know, I was constantly working out at the gym and making sure I look good and keeping myself in shape. And then, you know, it was important as an aspiring actress to try all kinds of different things, whether you would try swimming, kickboxing, and then yoga came into the picture.
Right.
I hadn't tried yoga before, and there was actually something from Sri Ravi Shankar, and then I attended that workshop. I think it was about a week or two workshop, and I was like, wow, this stuff's amazing, you know?
Right.
And I think it made sense for me at that time of my life, because there I was as an aspiring actress in Mumbai by myself. I went on my own. So there was like, you know, I'm just like a strange girl in a strange city, you know? And then I guess yoga was really calling out to me, because it was kind of like this inner guidance and spiritual practice, and I guess I needed that.
Right.
And then I really resonated with it, and I gravitated towards, and I was like, I love this. And then what happened was, where I was working out at the gym, a lot of the A-list celebrities would work out there in the Bollywood industry, and the owners of the gym actually offered me to come and work at the gym. They're like, well, you know, you work out here a lot.
Right.
Why don't you start training some of the girls? And then I started doing that, and I loved it. So what I recognized was that somehow fitness was coming into my life.
Right. Okay.
Health and wellness was coming into my life, because the yoga, the 2-week thing I did there, now these people are like, oh, why don't you train some of the girls? And I was like, it's all kind of making sense, I guess, you know?
Right.
And then that's it. And so then I became the mind body coach, and it's been that way ever since.
Fantastic. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna wrap up.
Sure.
Maybe you can tell people how they can get a hold of your book.
Yeah. So if you are in local area, Peel, Brampton, Mississauga, Ontario, you can always pick it up at the home studio.
Okay.
I have copies, or you can buy an ebook online, and it's on Amazon.com as well as Amazon.ca.
Amazon.ca.
Yeah.
Perfect. And how do people reach you?
Reach me by info@amodernyogi.com, amodernyogi.com. You can call me as well. I'm not difficult to get a hold of.
Right.
So preferably text or something, and then I can get back to them. And email is always good as well.
Perfect. So we're gonna wrap up at Peel Healthy Lifestyles, and as we wrap up, I'm gonna ask Charu one last question, which is, what do you think would be one change that can really make an impact in a person's life?
Breathing. I think if people can learn how to breathe better, then they'll have better control of their actions, their emotions, their mind. Because we don't breathe well, you know. And so if somebody learns how to do that, then I feel like it's at least a foundation for everything else.
Okay, perfect. So you heard it here. So make sure you're breathing and breathing well, and nice and deep breaths, no shallow breathing. So once again, this is Nick Yadevinder from Peel Healthy Lifestyles. Joining me is Charu. We want to thank Charu for joining us in the studio, and we want to thank you for joining us this week. And until next week, take care.